YVR is one of 4 Canadian airports still accepting international flights. It is now mandatory that all returning passengers must self-isolate under the Quarantine Act. But that isn't stopping some people from trying to hide flu-like symptoms so that they can board a flight home. CTV's Shannon Patterson has the story.
Passengers arriving at YVR from outside Canada are supposed to self-isolate. Till now, the government has trusted them to do it willingly.
We have decided that now is the time to make that measure mandatory.
Under the Quarantine Act, the 14-day self-isolation for returning travelers will now be a legal requirement.
There will be follow-up, there will be random screening, and there will be spot screening based on particular situations. And my officials are working with CBSA right now to ensure that people know that this will be serious and that there will be significant penalties if people violate the quarantine.
Those penalties could include fines and even arrest.
I think that that's a very good thing for sure. It's going to limit exposure.
But flight attendants say it doesn't address one of their top concerns about repatriation flights arriving at YVR and 3 other Canadian airports.
People want to come home. We obviously want them to come home, but they're masking their symptoms if they have them to get home. And that's the primary issue here, is people are able to do that and people are doing that.
The Flight Attendants Union wants the government to require temperature testing of all passengers coming to Canada.
I think it is something that should be enacted and should be done prior to departure, for sure. That's a much better system than self-reporting.
There have been a lot of discussion around thermal screening and taking temperatures and spot checks.
For now, they're just discussions. While international passengers won't need to have their temperature taken before departure, they will be required to self-isolate in the first Canadian city they land in, even if they don't live there.
And we will provide the accommodation and meals for those situations.
For passengers who live in Metro Vancouver, it's now the law. Go straight home and stay there for 14 days. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, YVR.